In a world where perfection is prized above all else, Mr. Perfect, a man who seems to have it all. In the heart of the bustling city, where every corner is filled with the pulse of urban life, lies a sanctuary of order and precision, the home of Mr. Perfect. With its sleek lines and immaculate surfaces, it's a reflection of the man who lives within its walls. From his flawless appearance to his successful career, he's the envy of everyone around him. But behind the facade of perfection lies a story of insecurity and the relentless pursuit of an unattainable ideal. Meet Mr. Perfect, a man whose flawless appearance is matched only by the impeccable order of his surroundings. From the crisp lines of his attire to the pristine surfaces of his apartment, everything about him exudes an aura of effortless perfection. And so, as Mr. Perfect steps out into the world, he carries with him the assurance of someone who believes that perfection is not just an ideal to strive for, but a way of life. But little does he know that beneath the surface lies a story of struggle and uncertainty, waiting to be unraveled. In the world of Mr. Perfect, every aspect of life is carefully orchestrated to maintain the illusion of flawlessness. From the immaculate order of his apartment to the polished professionalism of his high-powered job, he appears to have it all together. But as we'll soon discover, even the most meticulously curated facade can hide cracks beneath the surface. Beneath the pristine exterior of Mr. Perfect's life, cracks begin to appear, tiny fissures in the facade that threaten to shatter the illusion of flawlessness. But for now, they remain hidden from view, obscured by the carefully constructed image of perfection that Mr. Perfect presents to the world. For Mr. Perfect, the pressure to maintain his facade of perfection is a heavy burden to bear. With each passing day, the cracks in his carefully constructed facade grow wider, threatening to expose the vulnerability and insecurity that lie beneath the surface. But will he be able to keep up the charade, or will the truth finally come crashing down around him? Despite his outward success, Mr. Perfect finds himself feeling empty and unfulfilled. The relentless pursuit of perfection has left him disconnected from his own emotions, unable to find joy or meaning in his meticulously planned life. As Mr. Perfect's facade begins to crumble, the toll it takes on his relationships becomes increasingly apparent. His obsession with perfection leaves him isolated and alone, unable to connect with those around him on a meaningful level. Despite his best efforts to maintain the illusion of flawlessness, Mr. Perfect finds himself feeling increasingly isolated and alone. The pressure to live up to impossible standards leaves him feeling disconnected from his own emotions, unable to find joy or meaning in his meticulously planned life. For Mr. Perfect, the pursuit of perfection has come at a great cost. As his carefully constructed world begins to unravel, he must confront the harsh truth that true happiness cannot be found in flawlessness alone. But will he be able to let go of his obsession with perfection and embrace the messy, imperfect journey of life? Only time will tell. In a moment of crisis, Mr. Perfect's carefully constructed world comes crashing down around him. A series of setbacks and failures force him to confront the reality that perfection is an impossible standard, one that no one can ever truly achieve. As Mr. Perfect faces the harsh truth of his own limitations, he is forced to confront the insecurities and fears that have been driving his pursuit of perfection. In the midst of his darkest hour, he begins to see that true happiness lies not in flawlessness, but in embracing the messy, imperfect journey of life. As Mr. Perfect's carefully crafted facade begins to crumble, he finds himself facing a crossroads. The relentless pursuit of perfection has left him feeling isolated and alone, unable to find meaning or fulfillment in his meticulously planned life. With the weight of his own expectations bearing down on him, Mr. Perfect reaches his breaking point. He realizes that the pursuit of perfection has cost him more than he ever imagined, leaving him feeling empty and unfulfilled. And so, as Mr. Perfect confronts the harsh reality of his own limitations, he begins to see that true happiness lies not in the pursuit of perfection, but in embracing the messy, imperfect journey of life. But will he be able to let go of his obsession with perfection and embrace the beautiful chaos of the world around him? Only time will tell. In a moment of crisis, Mr. Perfect's carefully constructed world comes crashing down around him. Despite his best efforts to maintain the facade of flawlessness, a series of setbacks and failures force him to confront the harsh reality that perfection is an impossible standard. As the pressure mounts and the challenges pile up, Mr. Perfect finds himself facing a series of setbacks that shake him to his core. The realization that perfection is an unattainable ideal, one that no one can ever truly achieve, hits him like a ton of bricks. Despite his best efforts to keep up appearances, Mr. Perfect's carefully constructed world begins to unravel at the seams. The weight of his own expectations bears down on him, leaving him feeling overwhelmed and powerless. And so, as Mr. Perfect confronts the harsh reality of his own limitations, he begins to see that true strength lies not in flawlessness, but in vulnerability and authenticity. With the weight of his burdens lifted from his shoulders, he embarks on a journey of self-discovery and growth, ready to embrace the beautiful chaos of the world around him. Armed with a newfound perspective, Mr. Perfect sets out on a journey of self-discovery and growth. Along the way, he learns to let go of his need for control and embrace the beauty of imperfection. With the guidance of a wise mentor, Mr. Perfect embarks on a series of soul-searching adventures, pushing himself out of his comfort zone and into the unknown. Along the way, he learns valuable lessons about resilience, compassion, and the importance of embracing life's uncertainties. As Mr. Perfect lets go of his need for control and embraces the beauty of imperfection, he begins to see the world through new eyes. He discovers that true happiness lies not in flawlessness, but in embracing the messy, imperfect journey of life. And so, as Mr. Perfect continues on his journey of self-discovery and growth, he finds solace in the knowledge that true strength lies not in perfection, but in vulnerability and authenticity. With each step forward, he embraces the beauty of imperfection and the endless possibilities of the human experience. Though he may not have it all figured out, Mr. Perfect is finally free from the shackles of perfection. He walks with a newfound sense of purpose and authenticity, ready to embrace the messy, imperfect journey of life with open arms. And so, as Mr. Perfect continues on his journey of self-discovery and growth, he finds solace in the knowledge that true happiness lies not in flawlessness, but in embracing the messy, imperfect journey of life.